If you've been considering buying or selling a home anytime over the past few months here in the Frisco, Texas or surrounding area, but the latest news and the headlines and the uncertainty about what's going on has you frozen and just not sure what to do, then stick around. Today, I want to provide you with the latest facts, figures, and insights into our local housing market in order to give you the information that you need to make the decision that's right for you and your family. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team here in Frisco, Texas. And I don't watch a whole lot of news, but I do read the reports online. I do check out what's going on with different videos. And I got to be honest with you, the latest headlines and everything that's going on has a lot of people just confused, me included, on what exactly is going on. They're painting a picture as though it's complete doom and gloom and that everything from home prices and buyer activity and sales are in an absolute free fall. And that's actually just not the case, which I want to share with you here today. Now, saying that, I'm not coming on to try and paint some rosy picture and to be delusional and say that the market hasn't changed, the market hasn't slowed, the market isn't down compared to what it was. It absolutely is. But some perspective is always needed. And many of the times, if you happen to see some of the other videos I've put out recently, I've been sharing what's going on in the headlines overall. And today I really want to get specific into our local market because, as they say, all real estate is local. Ultimately, it's local. What's going on here in Frisco is different than what's happening in Austin or Houston or San Antonio, let alone Las Vegas or Phoenix or Boise or Seattle or any of the other markets around the country. So that's what we want to break down a little bit here today. And without a doubt, to start off with, I mean, you're seeing reports that pending home sales are down, which they are. And pending home sales are homes that have gone under contract but haven't yet closed. Right? A new report is showing that they're down as much as 35% in some areas of the country. And absolutely, I understand that. Without a doubt, many of the or most of the reason that these home sales are down and pending home sales are down is mortgage rates. Let's face it, I mean, there's a lot of people that are waiting, sitting on the sidelines right now, hoping and waiting that prices are going to come tumbling down. And prices have come down, and they're likely to continue to drift down further. But to be honest with you, people were still buying like crazy earlier this year when prices were high. What's really changed is mortgage rates. There isn't one expert, there isn't one report, there isn't one prediction out there that was made last year that said mortgage rates are going to go from 3 to 7%. They were expected to drift up, but they were expected to drift up to 4.5%, 5% by the end of 2022, not sit as we are today in the low 7% range. That has absolutely hammered affordability, especially for people in the lower end of the market, and made it extremely difficult. The principal and interest, your mortgage payment at 3% compared to what it is at 7% is drastically different, as many of you know. So it's not so much home prices, but mortgage rates that have really done a number on buyer activity and buyer demand. But saying that, demand hasn't disappeared. It hasn't gone away completely. And as a matter of fact, there's already signs in our local market that we're starting to balance out. We're starting to find a bottom with regards to what's going on. So I do expect the home prices will drift down a little bit further. But like I said, we really need mortgage rates to come down. And they will. How far they fall and when remains to be seen. Most of the forecasts that I have seen lately are forecasting that rates will end up settling back down somewhere in the 5% range, but it may take us a year or 18 months to get there. So let me share my screen with you and just go over some of the latest numbers for Frisco so you can see what it is that I'm talking about here. All right, this right here is a market report that gets updated every single Monday that I put out. If you'd like to subscribe to it, actually right behind me here, there's actually a subscribe button there in the upper corner. But the nice thing is, even if you're not interested directly in Frisco or a subsection of Frisco, you can put any city or zip code into the search bar right here and get this exact same information. So here's what I wanted to share with you quickly here. Right, the first thing that you're going to see is kind of like this speedometer. And this is a gauge. The further over to the right this needle is, the hotter and faster our market is moving. It's not long ago that this needle was pegged right at 100. We were going as fast as could be, and we backed off all the way to 45 here. And we've been holding right around this number for the last couple of months. Now, I should point out that anything above a reading of 30 indicates that market conditions are still more in favor of sellers than they are of buyers. So you can see we have not dropped into completely a buyer's market. And I'm not sure, based on everything that we're seeing right now, that we will or that we'll get there at all. But right here, the median list price of all homes listed for sale in Frisco right now is $730,000. That is holding fairly steady. You can see it drifted up. It came slightly back down in this area, but it's holding fairly steady. The median price of new listings is now at $690. That's been bouncing up and down, and it's normal, especially in current conditions, that the new properties coming to market are going to be listed a little bit lower. Now, days on market has not gone out of control, right? We're at 63, and it's actually just started to turn to give us an indication that it's kind of peaked for now. Days on market this time of year usually increase anyway, but right now we've kind of peaked and we're sitting right there at 63 days on market. And then here for inventory, you can see there's been a lot of talk about the supply of homes is going to go up really high as buyer demand drops off, therefore putting a lot of downward pressure on pricing. And it's only in the last 7 days that we've seen inventory tick up slightly. And I do mean slightly. We're talking a difference of 10 homes. So there's not a whole lot. Other than that, our inventory had been trending down for quite a while. So again, at a glance, at a snapshot, you can easily get an idea of what's going on here in our local market. Okay, so here's what I was saying with regards to average days on market. You can see, going all the way back to November of 29 and the beginning of 2019 and the beginning of 2020, we're still below those levels. So, I heard someone say last week, which is the best I heard, rather than looking at the current real estate market as being in a free fall or things are just getting out of control or we're in the midst of a massive crash, the market right now is actually fairly normal. I mean, it's fairly normal for what we would expect to see in a real estate market. What we experienced the past 2 years was abnormal. That's not a normal real estate market. Yet all of the numbers, all of the facts, all of the information that's been provided are being compared to 2020 and 2021. And those were abnormal markets. Those were not how it's been in the 20 years I've been doing this. What we're seeing now is more normal overall. All right, so right here, we can kind of look at different things with pricing and inventory and kind of go through. And here's what I was talking about with the median list price. The dark line is your 90-day average, and the dash line here is your 7-day. So obviously the 7-day is much more erratic, but you can see going all the way back to about April, we've been fairly consistent and not changed a great deal overall when you look at the 90-day trend line. Now, I will say that for pricing here in Frisco, our market actually peaked in April. So in April of 2022 is when our market peaked. And yes, it's true, prices are down. We are down 16% from April, but we're still up 19.8% year over year. I'm going to show that to you here. Okay, so here's the median sales price, 19.7%. All right, so this is going back 3 years looking at the median sales price. Here we are in April. The median sales price in Frisco peaked at 760. We dropped off in August down to 638. We actually ticked up slightly in September. October's numbers will be out in just a couple of days, and I'll update this. But you can see we're still at 19.7% year over year. Now, technically, in order for the real estate market to crash, we're going to have to see pricing fall an additional 20% to get us back to where we were and then drop further than that, which I don't think we're going to see. There's no indication of it whatsoever. I do expect this 19.7% number to keep trending down. It's unsustainable. It's what made things unaffordable. But the latest forecasts I have seen from Redfin, from Zillow, from the Texas A&M Department of Real Estate are all forecast, and many of the local home builders are all forecasting price appreciation here in this area of somewhere around about 2%, maybe as high as 5% in 2023. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't know if it will or won't. There's a lot that's uncertain. Is the economy going to go into a prolonged recession? How will that impact things? What I do know is that here in Frisco, we are to a certain extent a little bit insulated by some of that. We have so much inbound migration currently still. And a recent report I just read showed Frisco as being one of the top recession-proof economies in the entire country, which is crazy when you think about it. All right, so with that in mind too, to think that the market has just died off completely, I wanted to show you this one stat. And what this is doing is this is showing what percentage of list price, of the original price, are homes actually selling for. And as you can see back here, in March and April, it was pretty crazy. Homes on average were selling right around 109, 110% of their list price. So a home listed at 500 on average was selling for 550. And you can see it plummeted. But even now, as of September, homes are still selling for 96.6% of list price, original list price. So the market is not in a free fall by any means. It is searching. It is trying to find balance. Sellers still don't believe that prices have come down. Buyers want to believe that we're just in a free fall and they can offer anything and the seller has to accept it. And that's simply not true. The market right now is absolutely looking for balance. It's trying to find an equilibrium point where, both parties can be somewhat satisfied and move forward. But if you've been considering buying, you want to take a look at how long homes have been listed. As I showed you, the days on market right now, you can see here, if I go to the average days on market, they're at 41 for the market overall. On that previous chart that I showed you, it showed 63. That's looking at new construction, resale, everything overall from when a property gets listed, condos and everything. And so with that in mind, if you can start to see a property that's been on the market for 80, 85, 90 days, those are properties that you can try and negotiate with. You can put an offer in that's lower, than you might think they would take. And it will come down to the seller and their specific situation. But again, the idea that the market that we are in right now is just in some massive decline that's just getting worse and worse and worse month over month is just not the case. It's not a free fall here in Frisco at all. It's searching for balance. It is correcting. It is adjusting. But if you're sitting there hoping that prices are going to come down another 20 or 30%, unless something that's not showing up in the data yet happens, it just doesn't look like that is going to be the case. So again, hopefully this information helps provide a little bit of clarity into what's going on in our local market here currently. Again, there's a link to that market report for Frisco in the description below. So feel free to sign up for yourself, get an idea on what's going on, and able to keep track in Frisco or Prosper or Little Elm or any of the local zip codes that you want. And you'll be updated on that each and every week on what's going on in that local market that's most of interest to you. And if you have any questions whatsoever, if there's anything I can help out with, please feel free to reach out. You can always give me a call at 469-296-5230, or feel free to send an email to Andrew at theandrewsmichteam.com.